We have a Virgo moon coming up on the 22nd, 23rd with a finger of God embedded in it. Finger of God sounds so mysterious. It looks like an arrowhead, and it tells us where we have something to focus on that has a quality of being fated or destined, that's also connected to elements that have to do with sacrifice and a willingness to serve. And when we look at this lunation in each of our lives pointing at 0 degrees of Virgo, I will remind you that that is a positive and fortunate degree. For everything at 0 degrees throughout the sky is about new beginnings, fresh starts. It's a beginner's mind. It's like the Holy Fool playing in matter. It's like the tarot card, the Fool in the major arcana. So there's a sweetness to the 0 degrees, and innocence, a place where we can succeed by dint of that childlike part of ourselves. So don't be afraid of this finger of God, but it is often hard to capture the finger of God. It's going to give each of us a mission, like go this way, go this way, go this way. And yet at the same time, it requires a willingness to surrender. It's a little bit like a serenity prayer moment. You know, one of my favorite astrologers and colleagues, Gary Caton, has written recently over on Substack about how on the morning of the 20th, there is an alignment with Venus and Jupiter and the moon that invites us to pray on the morning, in the visible morning hours of the sky as we see these planets. We can open up a petition to the divine. And if I remember, I'll put a link to his Substack in my description box so you can read more about that. Well, that's going to be a Wednesday morning event. And this moon is showing up on Friday or Saturday, the 22nd, 23rd. It really depends on your time zone. The new moon, I hope I said new at the beginning because I'm always mixing those up, but it is fresh, it is new, and it's at the 0 degree. It does have a finger of God. So let me tell you what it's formed with, right? Saturn and Neptune hold one corner of the finger of God, or the sort of sextile energy, and I'll be showing you that in a minute. And Pluto and Aquarius holds the other corner. And it means that Pluto flowing to Saturn, Pluto flowing to Neptune, Neptune is holding the hands with Saturn. Those three major players are forming the basic bedrock of what our destiny is collectively and individually. I'm going to reflect on something for you guys. There's a star, and it's Regulus, Little King. It's about fame, glory, power, and riches. Well, Little King has moved as of 2012 to 0 Virgo, out of Leo, ending hundreds of years of cycle in which we have been dominated by kings. That's right. Kings mean leaders, dominators, world power people, a sense of the people being under the thumb of those in charge. And so about 2,000, 2,500 years ago, that is when that star would have been in the early 0 degrees of Western tropical Leo, beginning a period of king. It is a very strong energy connected to the symbol of the lion. It is a part of the Leo constellation. And Donald Trump was born in his birth year, whatever that was, 80 odd years ago. My brain won't tell me right now, with that star on his 29 degree ascendant in Leo. And now that star has moved over to 0 degrees. And we call them fixed stars because they're not really moving around. The planet is wobbling. The Earth is wobbling on its axis, and it's rotating around the sun, and all that ends up creating roughly every 72 years a shift of 1 degree for the perspective of the star, in this case Regulus, relative to our Earth base position and the backdrop of the constellations. So in this regard, all I'll say is this: I don't mind this star 0 degrees of the sign of Virgo for a fated finger of God for humanity, moving us out of the time of kings. I'll be doing a video later on about Pluto out of bounds. Well, he'll be out of bounds now for thousands and thousands of years after his out of bounds period that begins at the very end of September. This is going to initiate a time period for the world where the powers of kings and leaders and rulers will fall as the people rise up. And historically, the South out of bounds on the south declination mean it literally is a time for the overturning of power by the revolution of the people. And this energy was here in the American and French Revolution, but it won't come back for so many thousands of years. That's what I'm so excited by. So we'll be doing a whole video on how to use this out of bounds, unbounded Pluto for your sign. Today, we're not focusing too much on world astrology. I will make some general assessments about it in another video I'll be doing for the eclipse of September the 21st. But this eclipse is a foreshadow of September 21st, 29-degree Virgo eclipse. And so there will be elements of the sky that's playing out right now in our heavens that will recapitulate and refurther or extend themselves from September the 21st into the year that follows. And we have eclipses connected to 29 Virgo historically that tend to show stock market downturns on the horizon, recessions on the horizon, typically. Peace talks and deals and treaties on the horizon, things like closing up long-held animosities between countries. This often is involved Pluto. I mean, this kind of sky where we're coming into that September eclipse goes back to Gorbachev and Reagan and the end of the Berlin Wall. And so this eclipse cycle could really reunite Russia and the United States in a way we haven't seen since 2019, 86, 87, 86, 87, 88, 89. So I'll have a deep dive video coming out about that eclipse. I've already done a preview video, and so I'm not going to cover anything to do with world events and eclipses at this time. What I will be doing is waiting for that video that comes out for the September 21st eclipse, and of course for the Pisces eclipse as well around September 7th, 8th. If you want information on how to handle those eclipses for your sign, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss a thing. And if you're into learning astrology to time your best life, be your own astrologer, know how to navigate your life and go with the flow, not swim upstream and make it hard. That's what astrology is for. And I'm teaching Sky Reader this September 27th through to November 1st. Every Saturday, we're an hour together at an hour and a half, 2 hours in class. And then we move into weekly Q&A calls with coaching and guidance, a Facebook group, a Discord group to meet other students and create study pods or just connect with others, plus 4 guest teachers teaching such things as relocational astrology modules on the Sabian symbols. And these guest astrologers, 4 of them in October, you get that content as well. And you get to keep it all forever on my teaching platform. It never goes anywhere. It's yours to hold and keep. Right now, I haven't got the enrollment cart ready yet. I'm working on a new platform, Thinkific, to transfer content over. So it's taking me a while by myself. If you look down below in my description box, there's an early bird discount code waitlist. If you sign up for that, then you'll also be the first to know when the doors open. All right. So that's enough promotion. Let's go ahead and show you the sky. Now, I do think about the 0 degrees and I think about what you can start, what's going to be new and fresh, but it's also fortunate and lucky. In my earlier video that I covered about a week and a half ago on the Virgo moon, I focused primarily on the square from Uranus that brings shock or unexpected surprise. And so if you want to listen to the shocking, surprising part of this moon for your sign, things you don't see coming, blindsided, left field, out of the blue, breaking free and breaking through, that moon video has already come out. So you go find it and you'll probably enjoy watching it. Now I've got a serious condition of being outside. So if my mic goes in and out or I lose a signal, I'm sorry about that. It's the best I can do. I'm on vacation recording this for you on August the 18th for Thursday's Thursday's drop. And did I say my name? Lori Lothian, Western Tropical Zodiac, fixed signs and whole stars are part of my storyline. Whole sign houses, fixed stars, and minor asteroids are a major part of how I delineate the sky. Please go watch the earlier video. That'll be a lot of a deeper dive into asteroid stories to do with the square to Uranus. Today, I just want you to focus on the arrowhead of God, right? So let's go ahead and pull out the chart. And well, it'd be nice if my software was open on my desk, but we will get to that. Give me a sec. And all right, give me a minute. All right, here it is. I see my software, so I should be able to drag it up for you guys. All right, here we go. So we're covering all signs. I draw oracle card draws for most of my videos these days to complement the astrology. But today I'm just going to take it easy and really focus on the finger of God and the astrology itself. I think I did on my Virgo square Uranus, Virgo 0 degree new moon square Uranus at 1 Gemini. I did cover that in that video with some oracle card draws as well. I believe I did. So here we have the sky. And what I'm going to do is move us ahead, of course, to the new moon, which is on the 22nd. Why do I have years here? Which is the 22nd, 23rd time zone dependent. So this is the moon. It's going to slice over into the next sign. You can see on the 23rd at 3:20 p.m. in Washington, D.C., the moon is on the sun. Let's drag it back a few hours to get it precise. Oh, the universe isn't loving me today. It's going by hours. Okay. It's going by days again. Don't get dizzy, guys. I didn't pin this to 0 Aries. Baby, you're making me dizzy. It's around here, okay? Right here. You'll see around 11:20 p.m. on the 22nd in Leavenworth, Washington. That's where I am right now. Washington State. So Pacific time, just before midnight, let's say. Then if we move to, Washington, D.C., it's like 3 a.m. in the morning kind of vibe, or 2:30 a.m. in the morning. And then in Europe, it's sometime in like breakfast coffee hour. So depending on where you live, it's going to happen at a different time. It's a new beginning and a fresh start. And there is a finger of God here. This is the finger of God. Do you see the arrowhead? It's a bit cluttered here. The sky is a bit cluttered. I do apologize, but nothing I can do. The sky is busy these days. But if I do put in an annotation to kind of draw over, it makes it a little bit more strong. There we go. See? There we go. So Pluto, Saturn, Uranus retrograde. Saturn will move September 1st or so back into Pisces, and around October the 22nd, if memory serves me, Neptune will also slide back into Pisces. But next February, they join together and initiate humanity into a whole new Piscean, Aryan story, which can be quite intense for world stories, that's for sure, at 0 degrees on the world axis next spring. For now, this black thing I just drew for you is what we call a finger of God. And that's because it points here at these guys that the call or the mission, the divine instruction, takes us to Virgo. That means that something about your Virgo whole sign house, please don't use Placidus, it will confuse you. And we can't do Time Lord tools properly. Just pretend it's whole sign house in your sky. If you don't know how to cast your chart in whole sign houses, or find your ascendant, you'll need a birth time. Please look at my free video tutorial in my description box. You just have to go grab it. And I made a video for you guys. So this energy here is reconciled. It's a sextile. That means these guys are working together. Saturn is communing as a merged energy with Neptune. So make one's dreams real, make tangible one's fantasies, remove the barrier for illusions that you're under, spells that you're under, and be sober-minded and practical and realistic. Saturn. This is a very strong energy for making dreams real, but dispelling or disillusioning you for things that you thought were true and real, but which aren't in your Aries sky. Over here, Pluto, pure power, also retrograde. And he's all about where you want to authentically power up, to be willing to die and be born again, like the Phoenix, where you can be a vector for transpersonal willpower. And Lord Saturn is the Lord of karma and time as well. So this is a very huge energy to embody for all of the world. But now it points us all to 0, new beginnings, fresh starts, Virgo. So there's the focus point where you need to start again on a new mission. And it may require a sacrifice. Now, there's something called a boomerang yod. Imagine I drew a line like this right through here, right? That would put me at 0 degrees of Pisces, right across from 0 degrees of Virgo. That's a special spot. That's if you had a planet there and everything lined up like this, if you have a planet near 0 degrees of Pisces, it's at the midpoint between the sextile, but that is also like the boomerang part of the finger of God. It's a highly sensitive point. It's a midpoint to the tip of the finger of God. So I could also point us to a lot of energy around that Pisces 0 degree in our natal chart. For instance, that would put me in my second house of earnings, and that would put me right on Jupiter, who sits at 2 degrees of Pisces in my chart. So for me, Jupiter sits at the boomerang point of the finger of God. Well, I have no planet sitting at 0 degrees of Virgo. Now, I don't have time to delineate every planet that might sit at the Pisces part of the yod right here, or at the tip of the yod right here, but I may try to do an overview as the beginning of this video is being introduced, because it might be helpful for a few of you. So let me give you the basics of the meanings of the planets. If it's your solar energy, your sun sitting near, let's say within 3 degrees of Virgo, 0 to 3 degrees of Virgo, or your sun at 0 to 3 degrees of the boomerang point, very sensitive activation point, Pisces, then if you have your sun there, you're really being called to a massive sort of mission, possible career and purpose for being alive. You guys are the sensitized points of, we're here, we've got a mission, I'm incarnated in my body, my soul is here, and I've got something to do. If you're at the tip of the finger of God in Virgo, of course, it's going to be much more about like what the projectile's pointing you at. And if your sun is in the first 3 degrees of Pisces, you might be finding yourself stimulated or pushed to take action, like some force beyond you is like pushing you into action, like a catalytic event in your life. Now, if it's your moon that's at 0 to 3 Pisces, or it's your sun moon that's at 0 to 3 degrees of Virgo, you're probably going to say, this is about my home life, where I live. This is about my mom, maybe. Sun could have been about father. This is about my mom. This is about my home. This is where I live. And this is about my emotional state, you know, your feelings, your moods, and stuff like that. But I want to go with the home energy as well. You know, no matter what you say about it, the moon is the natural ruler of the Cancer 4th house. And I always say every eclipse to my moon, I change my home in a significant and dramatic way. Every 18 and a half years, I get one of those. So you might want to consider, if it's your moon that you're listening to, and it happens to be a moon 0 to 3 Virgo or 0 to 3 Pisces, you are really looking at a potential destined, fated change, but all but finger of God's mission from God involves a sacrifice. I do think that the moon and Virgo people here will move more fully and willingly into their assignment, but the people who have to be shoved and pushed is from the midpoint spot. Some catalytic event could occur that jumps you into action around a shift of home. Now, as I'm discussing a finger of God, I realize I should tell you what the timeline is for this. This is probably not just the next 30 days. Why? Because even though there is a new moon here, it's going to roll into the eclipse of September 21st. No, not with the finger of God, but they're going to be interconnected. So it could be in the next 30 months for you Virgo moons and, you know, Pisces moons 0 to 3 Pisces and Virgo, that you might have an opportunity for a change of home, like in the 30 days by September 21st. But if it rolls into the eclipse, it could be within the next year, right? The solar eclipse, which is a long eclipse. Well, no, it's not too long, but by September 21st. September 21st, add a year, change of home, maybe for some of you, destined, fated, part of a greater mission. What if it's your ascendant? Okay, your rising sign degree, 0 to 3 Pisces, 0 to 3 Virgo. Well, that's your identity in the matrix. That's the simulation character that you're playing. And that part of you is very circumstantially sensitive to solar events and sky events and transiting planets. So if you do have that position of your ascendant, 0 to 3 degrees of Pisces or 0 to 3 degrees of Virgo, the tendency here will be for a massive change in anything in your life, relationships, home, marriage and relationships, home and home life, career and career path, or your body health and matters to do with your identity. All of those are up for grabs. The 4 corners of the chart, the 4 cardinal signs, the kentrons, the stakes are turning for you guys. It's a really big deal. If you're a 0 to 3 degrees ascendant in the sign of Pisces, don't worry too much about it. Jupiter is in a trine from, you know, Cancer. You're going to ride the wave. It'll be more intense for the 0 to 3 degree Virgo. So those are your major sun, moon, and rising placements. Now, rather than me going through literally all possibilities, it's important to understand just what the meanings of planets are, right? So I'll give you a simple tool here. If your Venus, no, let's go to Mercury. If your Mercury is 0 to 3 Virgo or 0 to 3 Pisces, you want to do 2 things. Mercury is information, news, so you'll expect something to come to you, some information or news, right? Or you get an idea. But also, Mercury has rulership over 2 whole sign houses in your sky. Those whole sign houses will be swooped into this mission from God, this finger of God energy, this sacrificial mission for you. So you might want to take a gander at your Gemini sky, and you might want to take a gander, of course, at your Virgo sky where this is happening. But there's a kind of a claw over from the Gemini sky. That's where Uranus is squaring the moon. So anyone here with a Virgo Mercury in the first 3 degrees, or Mercury in the first 3 degrees of Pisces, it's really feeling this energy because Uranus is squaring your Mercury. Major information, news, downloads, insights, opportunities of some sort coming through this finger of God. Venus rules our love stories and what we desire and what brings us pleasure in life, and also the abundance that comes through receiving our desires, but also, the money we need to receive it. And so when Venus is here, 0 to 3 Pisces or 0 to 3 Virgo, she's going to be activated, and she's going to say, well, this finger of God can't be without pleasure. It has to be, what do you desire? What do you want to attract to you? What do you want to unite with you? And in this regard, we also look to Libra and we look to Taurus, her other two houses, to see where the spill out might arrive in our sky, by house meaning. If you don't know the meanings of the houses, I have a PDF below, the meanings of the 12 houses PDF. Jupiter, justice, fairness, prosperity, children, goodness, right? Wealth. If Jupiter is 0 to 3, my Jupiter is 0 to 3. My Jupiter is at 2 degrees of Pisces, 0 to 3 degrees Pisces Jupiter, 0 to 3 degrees Jupiter in Virgo. You guys are going to find that this is trying to activate your inner wisdom, your knowledge, your goodness, your inner dispeller of darkness. But beyond that, depending on the house that it falls in, right? There's a meaning to the Pisces house for me. It's my earnings house. It's a trigger point for fated destined events for me about prosperity and earnings. But for you, it's something else. Like I don't know your chart. Just know that Jupiter spills it over to Pisces, which is fine because that's the midpoint of the Yod, and he spills it over to Sagittarius. So those other two houses could be really activated by the finger of God in your chart. So this is intermediate astrology, guys. And finally, Saturn, the taskmaster, the one who makes up the rules and keeps the boundaries intact, the Lord of our career karma. So basically over time, certain ages, 36, 44, 59, 60, we become more available to the gifts of Saturn. So if Saturn is at 0 to 3 Virgo or Pisces, you're going to find that your Saturn ruled Capricorn and Aquarius houses will have collateral benefits or collateral intensity from the finger of God. All right, so I hope that's a good primer on how to use astrology, always looking for house rulerships, collateral benefits and damages, etc. All right, I know in the comments someone's going to say something like, I have a stellium at 0 to 3 Pisces. I have 5 planets. Then you got a lot going on, guys. You are busier than all F. Okay, so I'm having a bad hair day, to say the very least. Okay, I think my hairdresser had a hissy fit because she gave me all of these choppy layers that she's never done before, and I'm ready to go straight up and cut my hair off and start all over again. And I've trusted her for years, so I don't even know where to go with that. What was Venus doing on the day I got my hair cut? I can't control this mop right now. All right, so let's get going. Let's talk about sun, moon, and rising sign. Don't forget sun sign, career and purpose, moon sign, home and home-based matters, and your rising sign, circumstantially your avatar in this game of life, and very accurate. If you don't know how to get your rising sign, you'll need to have your time. Check out my description box below, time of birth, how to cast your chart in whole sign houses, and by the way, it gives you your rising sign when you do it. All right, rising sign, Eastern horizon at the time of birth. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, here we go. My poor time stamping sister. There's so much I put into that intro. If you're new here, welcome again, but please like and subscribe, guys, regulars, or check that you're still subscribed. I get, I don't know, every 3 or 4 months, 3 months, I get bot scrubs. They scrub the bots out. And then every 6 months, it's like a complete trash bin event of my subscribers. And that's usually December and June. But the point about what I'm trying to get to is most of the time they unsubscribe you guys. You're already subscribed, right? And they just ditch you into the garbage bin on me. So if you would like to resubscribe, please do. You probably got unsubscribed in December or June and you don't even know it. So here we go. We're starting with Aries. And no, we're not going by week. Going by hour. Hey, Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. Guess what you've got going on here? You got a new beginning, a fresh start. It's 0 degrees and it's in Virgo, and that is your house of work. It's like you're doing a job, right? You gotta do something in this world. We have to be of service. And so often this is where we're employed. Our home office can be here, and there's a new beginning and a fresh start. When the moon is fresh and new on the 22nd or 23rd time zone dependent. And there's also a quality here to do with our health, and because it's a house of sickness, and we want to have a fresh start and a new beginning with our health. And the apex of the finger of God here can also indicate opportunities for new beginnings in properties that you wish to rent over the next month ahead, or even over the next year because it kind of gets swooped up in that September 21st eclipse. You might even get a pet from this new fresh start beginning. For the sixth house rules domestic animals. With this energy having a midpoint in Pisces at 0 degrees, it will point you directly at your own self undoing, like where you might have a bad habit, a thought pattern that doesn't serve you, an addiction of some sort, escapist habits as well, especially escapist habits in Pisces. And so this is going to be a way to change that in a faded way, a mission from God quality. If you do have that kind of impetus to change a habit in your life, right? And some of you might, and some of you might not, then it's going to be through a state of ease and surrender. For we will say that the South Node, which is over here, I didn't draw it in Virgo, allows for a deep spiritual surrender to something that doesn't serve us. And we'll include, of course, addictions now, or bad habits. There is one more thing to say about the finger of God in particular. Saturn in your sign means that you're getting really serious about your life. You're not going to waste any time. You are becoming sober-minded and realistic, but also dedicated, disciplined, and structuring your reality. And this is true ever since Saturn entered here. I think it was in May, leaves on September 1st, but you get a big dose of this next year in February for 2.5 more years. Every 30 years, Saturn enters your sign. So, Aries sun, it enters a place of your career, moon, your home, right? And Aries rising, your identity and body and health. So there's something very powerful going on in that part of your identity. Neptune is helping you see beyond the illusions or past the addictions. And Pluto is profoundly wanting to power you up to new levels of success in your profitable career, but at the same time, introduce you to powerful, influential, even maybe prosperous and wealthy new social circles and friendships. And a lot of this is going to pull you here into this new beginning in work, in your health, in your rental situations, in your pet situations, in fated and destined ways, should you choose to accept this mission. I will definitely give you the first 30 days after this new moon to consider if this is showing up as a story for you. Finger of Gods are optional. It doesn't demand you do something. It gives you an opportunity through a question mark, and usually involves having to go into a bit of what you give up in order to what you get, a sacrifice energy. I give this up in order to get that. With Jupiter in your 4th house and Venus, changes of home through rentals of properties are super auspicious, not only in the next 30 days, but the finger of God could even flow out further until the next year because of the eclipse hookup in September. Well, Taurus, a finger of God points you right smack dab at a new moon, new beginning in the 5th house of children, pregnancy and fertility, romantic love, creative and inspirational and artistic projects, fun, play, joy, and pleasure, and your children, I said children, and your entrepreneurial endeavors. So for all Taurians, a 5th house storyline is here. Well, South-Node is surrender, let go. So you might have to let go of attachment to something, a romantic love partner, your children, or you could have destined fated fertility and pregnancy stories coming through here with you or your partner. With this energy, it's also like a mission, like a finger of God says, will you accept this mission? And if you would want to, it's full of innocence, wonder, and awe, and luck. 0 degrees is very lucky because we have a beginner's mind here. The first time you do a painting, you write a song, you perform in a movie or play, you get rave reviews. You're like a beginner and you're doing well because you're such a beginner's mind, right? You get the vibe, right? You don't even mean to get pregnant, but the first time you have sex, you get pregnant, something like that. The first time your birth control fails, some really weird shit like that could go on. Now, having Pluto at the top of the sky, holding the top of this thing, he does want you to find your bliss, your joy, your fun through the career path. Like he's suggesting that they're not incompatible. You can be a powerful and wealthy person in your career, and you can still be experiencing in creative and enjoyment, bliss, fun, pleasure, and all of that satisfaction. But the key here is to use your natural talents and gifts. That's one of the meanings of the 5th house. So if you've always been a good speaker, writer, communicator, whatever it is, a mathematician, use those natural gifts and talents in service of empowering your career. Don't go against your gifts and talents. Go in the flow, go with them. And then Saturn, Neptune in the 12th house could be like, hey, are you dealing with any addictive substances? Like, ditch it already. Mars opposite Saturn, Neptune on the Yod is like time to get rid of any serious problems with substance abuse if you have them, so that you can move forward successfully in career and work where Mars is sitting. This is the kind of sky also with Saturn and Neptune that perhaps a deeper dive into solitude and aloneness and contemplation. It's an interesting place because even if you are in a romantic love or raising your children or busy with creative projects, there's a call to the solace and solitude, the insights that come from meditative contemplative states. How being alone isn't about being lonely, and you're not in a dungeon just because you're alone. Saturn and Neptune are trying to show you something about the good side and retrogradation of solitude. And so there's a long call here for a story of like more time alone, fortifies your career, but find the spark of your natural talents and gifts. Open the door and say yes. And the midpoint at opposite position at 0 degrees of Pisces. That's a sensitive point, and things could be going on at 0 Pisces that you really need to pay attention to. In other words, what friends, benefactors, allies, or a sibling one older than you can ricochet, boomerang, catapult you into activating a yes or no, but being faced with this finger of God energy. Really pay attention in particular to the 2 to 3 weeks after the new moon for clues as to how you're being called to a mission. And for some of you, it could unfold even further into the next year because of the eclipse that is an echo chamber for this one that's happening on September 21st, also in Virgo. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. So having having a new moon in Virgo on the 22nd, 23rd, at the very fortunate, lucky, innocent beginner's mind 0 degrees, is good for property, homeland, and real estate. But with the south node of surrender here, many of you are having to release some kind of attachment to your home, or literally release your home, sell it, rent it out, let it go. And you can even let your homeland go with this intensity of the south node, not only your home. But with that becomes a fresh start and a new beginning. And you're called to a divine mission. The finger of God is in the sky, and it points here to Pluto in the 9th house of foreign shores and foreign lands and long, far away places. You'll need a passport. And you might go on a pilgrimage, and that will be very beautiful for some of you to take a pilgrimage, not only in the month that follows the new moon, but up to the year that follows because of the eclipse on September 21st in Virgo. The Saturn-Neptune energy is interesting. Often I see Saturn up here when people lose a lot of friends, like kind of pare them down, but usually it's because of relocation. We don't, clobber our friendship circles unless there's distance between us, unless there's been a lot of hardship. So it looks like some of you are going to move, and you're going to move away from the people you normally would hang out with. Don't just look to the next 30 days. That could be evidence that a move should be happening, or you might take the assignment for a new home. But it can take up until the fall of 2026 to fully reveal itself to you. And that's okay, because Lord Saturn is the Lord of time, and he's holding the bottom of your finger of God aspect right here. So no hardship there. Time is your ally in this change. And literally with Uranus in your sign, you want to break free, break through, bust out. You are going for it. You are like a rebel with a cause. And so you're willing probably to work with this energy of a fresh new start, connected to your home, the way you interact in your home life, more health in the home, more purity in the home, more sanctuary, more temple rituals, more sage burning, more treating your home like a sacred priestess sanctuary, performing home-based magic even. These are all Virgo stories. Your first magic spell works and you can't believe it. I'm kid you not. So I will be doing that. I have a progressed Gemini sun, which is my career. And I'm telling you, I need to do yes to all of this. So I'll let you guys know how it goes for me with my progressed Gemini sun. So now we have Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. There's like a new beginning. There's like a fresh start. Like there's a mission for you here. And that mission is in your third house. Now, your third house is extremely busy in terms of meanings. It's like your local neighborhood can change. Surrender, let go, start fresh. You might want to start fresh because of a travel opportunity, and it's going to be very new for you, very full of wonder and innocence. Or you might be letting go of something to do with your social media platforms and your writing projects and your online world, South Node, in order to open up exciting new beginnings and fresh opportunities. Certain simple things like closing down an old website and starting up a new one wouldn't be outside the bounds of this mission from God. There's siblings here, particularly the sibling one younger than you. And the South Node can suggest a need to detach from that sibling, but it can also mean a new, fresh start in the life of the sibling one younger than you that's full of fated and destined factors. In this third house area, sometimes you'll find yourself yearning to study, learn a skill that you can use in life or teach one. And so if you're yearning to learn something, and Virgo is connected to Mercury, who likes to learn, you might find that you're going to have a new beginning and a fresh opportunity for some kind of learning. And with the midpoint of the finger of God here in the house of higher education, I say that any kind of learning, from higher academics to just community colleges or online classes, are good for you in terms of new, fresh starts that are fated and destined over the course of the month that follows the moon, and even up to a year if it gets entangled in the September 21st Virgo eclipse. Now, part of what I want to mention here is that you might find that Saturn in your retrograding your 10th house is going to start, he's working on a plan. He wants you to experience authority, mastery, and expertise and success at the top of a mountain of career on something you've probably been working on for at least 7 years, minimum, maybe longer. And as he reaches this apex of the sky for you Cancers, right? He's really saying, I've got a plan, and it's going to take a while to execute. Be patient. But he leaves here September 1st and comes back next spring in February. And then for about 2.5 years, it's all about your career. Now, it almost is like you reach a peak and then you go down to another valley to climb a new mountain, right? I often say, I should have known Kamala Harris wasn't going to win the election because Saturn in her chart was in a difficult position. Saturn natally was moving through her 10th house, and that's like where you hit an apex already. Now you're going to go downhill from there, or you're going to like quit and start something new. But you haven't even gotten to that point. You're coming to the ascendancy of Saturn. And I bring that up because in this finger of God, there's something that Saturn's working on, and Neptune as well, to have new structures and forms that are realistic and practical, that are not illusory in the 10th house of career. And now Neptune rules all kinds of stuff, guys. Filmmaking, filmography, photography, virtual reality events and stuff like that. Anything that makes the unreal seem real, storytelling. And those fields of endeavor may be, for some Cancers, coming into the limelight next year in February. So this is a precursor, and the finger of God says, look, we got a mission for you. We want you to get serious about your career and what you really want to do that's in alignment with your original medicine, gifts and talents. Thank you, Chiron, and Pluto. Either coming in from the occult mysteries, tarot, astrology, maybe, divining, talking to the dead, alchemical knowledge and wisdom, mysticism and magic. That's where Pluto sits, and bringing that into the third house of writing, communicating, marketing, teaching, selling, and social media. Maybe it's time to go all woo-woo in your work and career. If that's not it, chunky money could come to you off of this finger of God that propels you to ask a question about your neighborhood. If you came into a chunk of money and look at Mars in the 4th house, would you stay home or would you move to a new town, a new city, a new neighborhood? Some of you could be letting go of your neighborhood. Is it just pertaining to the month afterwards? Oh, of course not. But you could be thinking about it. It certainly could pertain until the end of the first eclipse here, not the first, to the end of the September 21st eclipse, into the fall of 2000, like the energy of a year after the solar eclipse, opening up a locational shift of neighborhood. Okay. All right, Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. How do you deal with this energy of a new beginning and a fresh start with luck and innocence in the workhouse, in the money making, resources, and finances of your 2nd house? But also your dietary habits, what you put in your mouth and nose. And of course, South Node says, let go, release, and surrender. So some of you will make some changes. to improve your diet, especially with Virgo here, to more health, to more nutrition, to more earth-based food if you need to. There's something trying to happen here. But cattle are earth-based, right? So it's not just animals. Taurus is what grows in the ground. Virgo is just earth. But you're going to find more sustainable dietary habits, more likely in lucky, fortunate ways. I'm going to say that's true. And there's a faded finger of God that asks you to consider the way you earn money, from the matters to do with your spouse and your long-term relationship partners that you choose, whether they're here now or not, whether you have one or not, and transformation of those patterns. While at the same time, consider how you earn money in relationship to your 9th house, which is Dharma, alignment with purpose, being on purpose in your work, finding the way that you want to use your talents and gifts to serve the greater good and be on purpose. So there could be situations with a spouse, right? And finances, and you're going to make a change, of course. Like they don't make any money. They go broke. They make all the money. You need to make some money. Something wants to change here. Pattern interrupt. It's a mission. The 0 degree of the finger of God is sensitive. You could have a planet there. Go watch my intro. But also elements of the sky, Leo, that could indicate coming into a windfall or a chunk of money that helps you orient your own relationship to money, earnings, and career in a different way. And I say that because Uranus is at 0 degrees of Gemini in the house of windfalls and pennies from heaven. And he's going to activate the Pisces midpoint of the finger of God in the house of chunky unearned income. So for some Leos, you may come into some unexpected fortune. It could come in many different ways. And the 11th house could be a massive career windfall, money from a sibling, one older than you. There's so many ways it can play out. Just ignore those minor asteroids, guys. That was from another video. All right, just close your eyes and pretend they're not there. So your family might be involved in the 2nd house, your family of origin and your family that you have now, who you live with, your kids and your husband. There could be a quality of some changing in the way that you interact with your family. That's what I mean in the South Node, like maybe moving away or surrendering or getting some distance from your family of origin in this finger of God as well. Okay. And if you're looking to make money in a more meaningful way, Saturn and Neptune in the finger of God can point you in educational directions, going back to school or taking courses and studying under a mentorship or tutorship of some sort that will indicate a new start and a fresh beginning and new ways of earning money. And you're feeling lucky about it. It's more authentic to your creative expression. And so that study opportunity may emerge on this lunation at about a month. Keep your eyes open for that as well. If a course captures your attention, say yes. So Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign, it kind of looks to me like you are having a big finger pointing right at you. Like God's got his finger right on your face, and you're going to have an opportunity for a really powerful new beginning. And it's going to, Virgo rising, your whole identity is about to start over and be fresh, including matters to do with health problems to the body. Anybody to do with a Virgo sun, your career is about to reset in a massive, formidable, unexpected, and exciting way. And for you, Virgo moons, maybe matters to do with where you live and your home life are also about to have a fresh start in an unexpected, radical, and exciting way. And because of the Uranus square. And you could feel with this energy that you're really hitting the reset button on your odometer of your car. You've got all this mileage, you've been packing on the mileage and you're ready to say to yourself, wait a minute, odometer reset button, illegal, but I'm going to do it. I'm starting fresh and I'm innocent and I'm childlike and I'm excited and I'm lucky because I'm starting fresh. Doesn't matter how many times you fall off a horse, guys. It's how many times you get back up. Cliche, but true. Having this finger God pointing at you from the workhouse here and the health house and the pets house and the rental property house are to consider themes that might emerge as a opportunity that feels awkward and challenging because it's an inconjunct, but you want to say yes. Or there's some aptitude here for money that comes to you from somewhere beside your earnings, and you just have to reconcile the coming to you of the money that is here in the chunky money, money you share with your spouse, money from an inheritance, money from a tax rebate, money from shared resources, unearned income. I don't know where it's coming from, but there's something about those kinds of financial resources. Now, the only other thing I could say, because occult mysteries are here, you might want to investigate more of the psycho-spiritual, supernatural, mystical sides of life in order to draw them and bring them into your work and your livelihood so that you can start fresh and anew. But, spousal support in a separation is here. Some of you might be looking at, or inheritances, or money you get from some other people, place, and thing. So there's a possibility that within the 30 days after the finger of God, and even further, the September 21st Virgo eclipse at a year, you're looking at some kind of inbound money connected to people and opportunities from your past or elders and inheritance themes. Mercury is in the house of hospitals. There could be a sudden opportunity for unexpected money from some aging elder in your family of origin. I don't know. And the Pluto part's interesting. You're going to live through like till 2044, Pluto in your sixth house of work, but it's debt, indebtedness, karmic and real. And so there's kind of a debt elimination program of massive magnitude going on for you to get rid of the karmic debts, but also real life debt if you have it. So there's just some intensity in houses 6 and 8. Stephen Forrest considers those the natural placements of the finger of God, which is why he delineates like death, rebirth, sacrifice, diligence, being called to a task that's significant, right? The significant task. And I'm going to say this. Let me know how you feel in the comments on the 22nd, 23rd, because that 0 degree new fresh start should almost be like a feeling of being a kid before all of your life collapsed around you with reality. You know what I mean? Before you knew bad things happen to good people. Over here is the midpoint of your finger of God, the boomerang point. So a significant other in your life could catalyze this fresh start in shocking and surprising ways. Your spouse, your main squeeze, a business partner, somebody you meet like a client, audience, or marketplace person, like a client, and something happens, something they say or do close to the moon, close to the 22nd, 23rd, maybe a few days after even, could really escalate a kind of trigger point moment. So especially those of you in long-term love relationships, your spouse type person could be a massive catalyst for what this moon is going to bring you. Finally, I mean, Mercury rules this moon. He's in the house of self-undoing and addictions, opposite Pluto in the house of health. Massive turning points in those matters as well. Okay, remember this general bell curve astrology. I'm not saying every Virgo's getting rid of an addiction, right? Let's be serious. But it will be true for many of you. Not all of you, many of you. And it could be just a bad habit of escaping from reality. It doesn't have to be a full-blown, problem. So Virgo, Gemini, oh my God, guys, I'm Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. Your energy here is subtle. You're not going to write home about it. Most of you, it will feel like nothing happened. And I say that because the 12th house is one of the hardest houses to experience. While it represents the sunrise, it also represents the part of the sky that is unavailable to our conscious mind. And unless you're a meditator, a dream journaler, somebody who does a lot of introspection, and if you are, congratulations, this will feel hard to pin the tail on the donkey. What is going on here, right? A new beginning and a fresh start with the South Node in the 12th house could open up doors of spiritual liberation. It could give you new starts and fresh starts in foreign shores and distant lands, including with Uranus, passports, visas, and a necessity in an unexpected, shocking way to travel. Yet the finger of God itself is indicating that you're working with relational, 7th house, and dharmic 5th house energies. It can be that Saturn is trying to get you serious about your significant relationship and realistic, but at the same time, your significant other could be chironically wounded with struggles with addiction, right? Saturn conjunct Neptune. But there's something going on with your significant other's life or your relationship to them vis-a-vis fun, joy, play, sexuality, and pleasure, Pluto. And this energy can have you really feeling out of sorts about your love life, right? And it's going to be your significant relationship life, whether you have one or not. It's your relationship to relationship we're talking about, your relationship to sexuality, not even the people involved. And there may be some discoveries for you. I'm not going to kid you not. I'm hetero. I thought I was gay. I'm gay. I thought I was hetero. Some of you will have these deep, parts of yourself that are kind of hidden from your own very own self being revealed in the fresh start, new beginning, Virgo 12th house. Now, Virgo is a virgin. 12th house is like ashrams and temple and spiritual communities sometimes. I mean, there may be a call for you to spend some time investigating your vows of chastity that come from another life, where you really line up on sexual and relational energies, and then begin to self-correct perhaps. Because this is going to unfold not over a day or two, but over weeks, look to the first month or so after the October 22nd, 23rd new moon on the finger of God for clues to what's really going on here, should you choose to accept your mission. And don't forget, because of September's eclipse as well on the 21st, this could bundle itself into a story that doesn't really fulfill all angles of it until the fall of 2026. Okay. That's what I've got for you. Let's go ahead and do the next sign. I'm just going to stop the share. Look at my hair. What did she do to me? I'm going to go get myself a glass of water. Hey guys, are you in the live premiere and listening to this video? If you don't mind liking and subscribing, I'd so appreciate that. And also, if you're in the replay, please listen. In your listening, please like and subscribe. I would so appreciate that. This is Virgo. This is Scorpio. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. Hey guys, a finger god is pointing you at the 11th house. Is it time for you to have a new beginning and a fresh start in your social circles, friendship groups, and where you create career gains and profits from your career? And maybe time to reset the odometer on some kind of innocent, childlike wonder and awe about your wishes fulfilled, your goals and dreams that you wish to come true. It's very much a wish upon a star. And the South Node is like, but let go first. You can't get something if you're holding on too tight. What do you need to surrender? And for some of you, with Mercury in the 10th house of career, you might surrender a position in your job, a career path, some kind of work and career story. Maybe in the 30 days that follows the finger of God tip moon, or maybe up to a year later. I want to mention that the finger of God is activating Pluto in the 4th house of childhood and home life, while Saturn and Neptune are activated in the work house. And given the position of the Lord of the Moon, I think a lot of you are looking at a destined, fated mission from God opportunity, awkward, not easy to say yes, might require sacrifice, that indicates a opportunity for your career, that can indicate a change of job, a change of career stature, and maybe a transformation or change of home. I've seen this kind of story happen in people's charts sometimes with Pluto involved in the 4th house, where the job opportunity can lead to a massive relocation, right? You're not going to live, where you live now, maybe the other side of your country, maybe another country, but the opportunity is emerging. And so you can say yes, or you can say no, but some of you will be moving quite broadly or whatever, significantly within 30 days of the moon, but even supporting a longer story through till next year. In the fall of next year. If you are dealing with a kind of sense of struggle or hardship with any kind of substance abuse issues, Mars/Saturn, Neptune, and sort of dovetailing into the Yod, are going to help you cut away and complete and end any serious habits of addiction of any sort. Now, I like the idea that the midpoint of the finger of God is connected to the Pisces sky for you, which is a flowing part of the real estate right here. And so a new beginning in a finger of God may involve conception of a child, or with Jupiter's position, an inbound grandchild. So becoming a parent or a grandparent in this destined finger of God could open up huge changes in your life at this time. And it could change where you live. It can change where you work. It can change what you do for a living to make money. But you got the innocence, the wonder, and the beginner's mind of the 0 degrees. And if you want to wish, make a wish. This is a beautiful moon to do it on, or follow what I mentioned in the intro, Gary Caton's suggestion to get up, because there's a big wish fulfillment energy in our sky the morning of the 20th, when Venus and Jupiter and the moon are all aligning and certain stars in Gemini. So with Castor and Pollux. So I would encourage you to think about the possibility of a wish come true in surprising, unexpected, and shocking ways. And Uranus in the 8th house, possibly the pennies from heaven and windfalls of the 11th house. You're going to come into some unexpected financial windfall coming off this finger of God that then turns around your relationship to work, to home, and to friendship circles and career dreams and goals and profits, etc. So I wouldn't put it outside the bounds of a windfall for you guys, especially with lucky Jupiter and Venus in the 9th house as well. So it's getting windy out here. I'm going to try to buffer my mic with my hand. So Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Do I have enough buffer? I think I do. Here's a sky that says you've got a destined finger of God pointing straight up at your career. Well, I know you're retired. So what do you do in the world that people witness you doing that you would say, hey, look at me, I'm great at this? It's a place of your ambition, success, your actions that people visibly see you doing. It's a high noon at the OK Corral. Your 10th house is social stature. I'm married, divorced, social standing. I'm widowed, whatever. So those parts, here's my funeral, here's my wedding, 10th house. So those stories are very activated in a fresh new beginning and start for you at a 0 degree, lucky degree lunation. South Node says you might have to let go of a stature in your life, something you're already let go of the marriage. Uranus is squaring from the marriage house and announce to the world a pending separation or divorce. Let go of your current career path in a sudden, exciting, exhilarating way. Because something new wants to start, and it's going to activate the 3rd house of communicating, writing, teaching, traveling, social media sphere. It's going to activate the 5th house, which has to do with romantic love, children, creativity, and the use of your natural talents and gifts and abilities. So it could look like some of you are going to attempt a career pivot here, or a purpose pivot if you're retired. And you want to bring a lot more creative energy, joyful energy, entrepreneurial energy, maybe social media energy into the mix. This is not too bad for businesses. If you want to start your own business as a Sag, wow, go for it. If you're looking for a love story to emerge, it may emerge through travel. And the new beginning might be the announcement to the world that you've met your soulmate, right? South Node, and you're with somebody. And if you're a single Sag looking for that relationship, it could show up in the next 30 days, but it could also show up in the next year because of the eclipse that gets bundled into this later on. The midpoint of the finger of God is your 4th house, right? Any planet 0-3, Pisces 0-3, I talked about this in the intro, Virgo are going to be highly intensified here. It's definitely something going on in your private life, your home life, and it could involve a significant other or someone you live with that kind of turbocharges and catapults changes here. Also, situations revolving around existing children may also be a major pivot energetically for you. I mean, Pluto, he's kind of like, I want to power up in the 3rd house. It could be a new neighborhood, but if you're going to change where you live, it's going to be connected to matters of purpose, career, children, or romantic love stories. But I will say one more thing. I mean, basically, Uranus is going to be the turbocharger for the finger of God, because he squares the midpoint and he squares the tip of it. So big erratic changes in your significant other's life, if you have one, are going to massively change your own reality. That's for sure. There's no doubt about that. I can't say much more. This looks like with Jupiter and Venus here in your 7th house, there may be some turning points around significant relationships, dispensation of shared resources because of separation, for example, divorce, all of that. And child custody stories as well. I want to encourage you to look at the magical quality of 0 Virgo. I mean, Virgo is a magical priestess energy, and you've got a new beginning and a fresh start. I think for everybody, this could be an opportune time to meditate, to pray, to do a spell, to ask for help from the divine. South Node at the 10th house top, sometimes we have to really let go of who we think we are in the eyes of the world in order to start something fresh, deep from the bones of our being. And I think a lot of you might be looking at a massive shift of perspective because you know how the world sees you is changing, because this is where you're most visible to others at the top of the sky. I don't care if you're retired, you do something unless you're hiding in your house all day long. And how other people identify who you are in this visible 10th house, that's changing. And that's changing in a very powerful mission way. New mission from God is here. Alrighty. Wishing you luck, Sagittarius, with that. Well, Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign, a new beginning of dynamic beginner's mind luck. 0 Virgo on this new moon in the house of God could indicate a new beginning with a teacher, a guide, a mentor, a guru, or a foreign country, foreign land, or foreign person, or even potentially book publishing, new start, fresh starts. I didn't start this video with a howling wind, so hopefully this hand is going to do a little job of keeping some of the wind off the mic. If it sounds staticky, I apologize. And I would say to you guys, okay, look, there's a profound flow to your Capricorn essence. Whatever, this is a lucky Lakshmi house. This is not a bad thing, but it's a Dharma house. You must have a mission from God to get damn well on purpose. What's the meaning of your life? What are your talents and gifts you're here to use? What's your true north? What's your spiritual philosophy and belief? Where are your alignments here? Because this new moon wants you to start fresh on this. And because this new moon is anchored by Pluto in the 2nd house of values and resources and self-esteem, but also self-worth and money and possessions and earnings, resources. And the 4th house is anchored by Saturn, Neptune in your property, land, real estate, and homeland and home. There's a huge energy about the basic bedrock home, which is by the way, a stake in the chart. It's a Kentron house. So you could have huge life changes from this 9th house story because of Pluto and Neptune, but you have to say yes to the mission. And the mission may require travel, 0 degree Pisces midpoint, or a sibling or aunt, uncle, cousin in your life, extended family, could catapult this mission into form for you or help initiate it like a fire starter or a water starter, a tsunami of shift through those other people. But any travel you're doing, travels to temples to see gurus or teachers, not just in the 1 month after the moon, but up to a year later, because of the entanglement with the eclipse of September 21st in Virgo, you're going to find massive life change here. Now, surrender is a South Node in the house of God. It's like surrendering to God is a good idea. Goddess, take your pick. Surrendering to a higher power, very big energy for a lot of Capricorns here. You could change your home. You could change the way you earn money. You could possess a new home, but we keep getting lots of travel or foreign distance or far off from where you live energies here. Maybe back to homeland. Saturn's retrograde in the house of home and homeland. Maybe you go back to your homeland if you've migrated or moved or traveled a lot. Maybe you want to go into a place where you feel like you belong for the very first time in your life. And maybe it is a spiritual community. So whatever this is, let me know when it happens. I'd love to hear back. I don't want to say too much about Uranus in the 6th house, but I will indicate he kind of turbocharges the 3rd house, 9th house axis of this finger of God. And it could really catapult you into a new path when it comes to writing, teaching, learning, communicating, traveling, and a new destined dharmic life path that wants to show up for you in this sky. Okay, let's keep on going and go into me, Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising. I'm an Aquarius rising, guys. So Aquarius rising, here we have a story for you and me where we can see that we have a chunky money new beginning. Now, don't be afraid of this part of the sky. Yes, it's a house of death. I know. And it's all that dark, scary stuff that we're afraid of, taxes as well. But it's a 0 degree lucky new start. And this is with the South Node, which can indicate karmic influences from other lives or need to let go and release a bit, surrender, dive into the moksha, spiritual liberation, death of the ego. If you're looking for death of the ego, no reason this couldn't help out. This energy couldn't help you out. But with the midpoint of the finger of God in your Pisces second house, there's also an energy about your money, earnings, possessions, and resources. And there's no two ways about it. This is a very intense energy, changing some financial structures in your life. It is likely with the Saturn Neptune energy in the third house to involve massive changes of financial fortune connected to aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, neighbors, or siblings. It can also indicate changes of fortune through successful or interesting developments through your teaching and writing, communicating, social media type of energy of the third house. More structure, more discipline in your daily life, Saturn in the third, connected to empowered energy of transpersonal forces of willpower moving through you, equals a massive new fresh start in the chunky money house. Now, it can be how you invest your money. It could be your ad revenue on YouTube. It could be your spouse's money. It could be some inheritance money. All of these things are possible with this sky. And with Mercury dominating from the seventh house, there could be something to do with your money that you're going to be able to share with a spouse. And Uranus is in the house of windfalls or pennies from heaven. No, sorry. I apologize. I'm tired. Not Mercury. Uranus is in your house of good fortune, which can stimulate windfalls and pennies from heaven. And he's at the midpoint of the money, possessions, and resources, second house, for the midpoint of the finger of God, and he stimulates the tip of the finger of God. So there's a possibility that some of you could come into some money here. But if you do, it's going to come in a kind of surprising and good fortune way. It could come from social media, it can come from ad income and revenue, but it can also come from any area of your reality, from your spouse to your audience and marketplace to to many different things, even through the axis of the work you're doing in the world. So that's one thing. Look for that in the 30 days after the moon, but know that this moon it kind of gets tangled into the September 21st, 29 Virgo eclipse. It's interconnected. So some themes here can take up to a year to unfold or fulfill itself. But I do think you're going to see evidence of what I'm talking about within the first 2 to 3 weeks after this moon, if not sooner. Pay attention to what's going on here. I love to hear back. Pluto brings you wealth. Uranus says surprise. The finger of God says destined midpoint, destined changes in the earnings and money and resources narrative for you. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. It is a sky where a finger of God, 0 degrees, very lucky, in the marriage house shows up. If you're with somebody, a fresh start in that relationship, a new lease on life, a new beginning can happen here. And if you're alone and you want a relationship, then you could have a new and destined and fated soulmate relationship coming into being within a month after this moon, or even up to a year later, starting from the September 21st Virgo eclipse. They're intertwined. The finger of God is a mission from God, and it involves your money, resources, and earnings and possessions, and hidden variables from past lives. Like, did you bury a treasure of wealth in a past life? And are you having hardships with your money? Do you need to manage your money, resources, and earnings much better? Have you had some challenges with your subconscious self undoing? Whatever's going on here, Saturn, Neptune, Pluto, houses 12 and 2 are giving you a chance to accept a finger of God mission. Now, if you're wanting to make money through audience, marketplace, public, and clients, all of that stuff, seventh house, this is opening up those doorways. If you just want to have a massive shift in resources, resource management, financial stuff, unbind and unwind your childhood traumas and difficulties around money, it's going to point you in the right direction. There can be a significant person entering your life, maybe from work stories because of Mercury's rulership. You used to work with Bob or Joe or Sally or Sue, and they're going to enter your life in the 30 days after this story opens up. And that person is going to open up opportunities for you, particularly around finances. Because you have the midpoint of the finger of God, of course, involved, as we all do, it's going to ask you to look at yourself. The midpoint at 0 degrees of Virgo, of Pisces, is your midpoint. You are the catalyst. No one's going to make the changes for you. This is a mission that you have to literally jump on. You are the 0 point catalytic energy. If you don't do it, nothing, if you don't say yes, it's not going to happen. It's not even going to happen if anyone doesn't say yes. But for you, of all things, you have to seize the day energetically because it's in your sign. When Lord Jupiter exalted in your fifth house, flowing to you, you are fortunate. You could be winning money off of that thing. I don't know, but you're fortunate, you're lucky, you're prosperous, you're fertile. You can make babies. So can your partner. So can you make grandbabies off of this story. Uranus is sitting in your fourth house and it hits the tip of the finger of God and the midpoint in Pisces. So it becomes a major catalyst. It could indicate this finger of God through your significant long-term love relationship, through business partnership alliances, could relocate your home. And if that's going to happen, that change of home, it's going to solidify and stabilize finances for you. If you don't change your home, you change what you do in your home. I mean, I remember when Uranus entered my fourth house back in 2018, I started doing my YouTube channel. I was not doing astrology yet. I was doing other stuff and the channel took off. So, internet technologies kind of thing in and from the home lead to new financial prosperity. Some of you will just get more involved in working in and from home on communicating things from the internet, online social media platform environment, perhaps, especially with Mercury in the sixth house. And lastly, if you want to change your home and the sky will help you do that, maybe you're going to have a new opportunity to move, but it might be connected to renting your home out, renting a home to live in. Those look very likely as possibilities for a change of home connected to the finger of God. And this finger of God is like a testing 1, 2, 1, 2 for what's really going to kick off full energy wise September 21st, 2025 with a solar eclipse. It will take up to a year to unfold. Okay. So expect a year later, the solar eclipse will show you its thing. Like by a year from now, next fall, you'll know what all of this is about. But there's like kind of like a foreshadow or into a new, what do you call it? Like when two bands get up to play, there's the opening act. I should have called this the opening act. This is an opening act new moon for the September 21st eclipse. Wishing you the very best of luck in all of that, Pisces. I do not have an outro today. I've been working all day long on my vacation. I know someone said I'm the hardest working astrologer on YouTube. Oh, don't get born with Saturn on your ascendant. That's what happens. But I'll see you guys in another video. Don't forget, please like, subscribe, and come join me in my Patreon community where you get early access ad-free content. They just got the All Signs 2020 September videos, I don't know, 2 days ago. Like on the 17th for what you guys are not going to get till the 24th. And they don't have to listen to ads. And it's like cheap to join the lowest tier. You always unsubscribe if you don't like it. For up to 4 Zoom meetings with me a month, all kinds of stuff we do there. First chance to get a reading with me because only Patreon members now are getting early access to my readings. Like it fills up with Patreon and when the calendar opens, it never gets to the public anymore. It's the best I can do, guys. All right. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. See you guys soon. Ciao, ciao. Bye.